Today we're going to take a look at the 2021 Honda CRF 300L Rally. We'll talk about where this bike fits into Honda's current dual sport / adventure model lineup. We'll also go over some of its specs and features, as well as start it up too, so you can hear what it sounds like in its stock form. And if you guys find any info in this video helpful, or you just like bikes in general and want to show your support for the time spent making these videos, please take a second and hit the like button for YouTube's algorithm. Dropping a like and commenting below helps more than you guys know, and I really appreciate it. Now, where does this bike fit into Honda's current motorcycle model lineup? That can be rather confusing depending on how you look at it. Honda classifies it as a dual sport model that is lumped in there with the CT125 at $38.99 and then the CRF 300L at $52.49, followed up by this CRF 300L Rally at $59.99, and then the CRF 450RL at $99.99, followed up by Old Faithful, the XR650L at $69.99. Now, Honda also lists this bike under their adventure model lineup, and then you're comparing it against the same models we just mentioned, minus the CT125, and then we add in the CB500X at $69.99, and then the NC750X at $81.99, which also has an automatic option. And last but not least, the Africa Twin models that start at $14,399 and stop at $17,999, and those also have a manual and automatic option too. All in all, if you want something that can handle both on and off-road, you've got a few options to choose from. But keep in mind, this is just speaking on Honda's current 2021 models. The 2022 models are just now starting to release, and we have some new models being added to the lineup. So keep an eye out at HondaProKevin.com and my social media link below for the latest updates. I want to take a quick second and say thank you to Southern Honda Power Sports for opening their doors to me and allowing me to come pick through their inventory for these videos. They are a massive Honda Power Sports dealer here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, with tons of inventory from new Hondas to used Harleys and everything in between that they sell to people from all over the USA. So check out the link in the description below and head over to their website to see if they can save you some money on your next toy. And now that we've got that out of the way, let's jump into a little bit more info on the 300 Rally. Now, what is the Rally? Take the standard CRF 300L and throw on more fuel capacity, handguards, and a frame-mounted windscreen, among other changes, and here we are. For 2021, you have two model options. You can get the standard model at $59.99, or for an additional $300, you can get Honda's anti-lock brake system, ABS, bringing the MSRP up to $62.99. And how about color options?
Nope.
There are none. You only have this red, white, blue, and black color combo to choose from. And next up, before we really start to get into the details, let's briefly cover some of the changes Honda threw at it for 2021. Honda took the CRF 250 Rally and enlarged the fuel tank by 25%, an increase of 0.7 gallons for a total size now of 3.4 gallons. Honda was able to pull over 250 miles of tank in testing, which puts you right around the 70 mile per gallon mark. Now, adding a larger fuel tank does increase the weight, but Honda spent a lot of time and research and development on lightening the bike, as a number of parts were lightened, like the front fender dropped 0.02 pounds, while the license plate bracket dropped 0.04 pounds, the toolbox is down 0.03 pounds, and the side covers dropped a staggering 0.05 pounds. And we're not done with all of the changes yet, but we'll sprinkle those in with the rest of the bike as we go through it. And next up, we'll cover a few more numbers. The Rally has a curb weight of 333 pounds compared to the standard 300L at 309 pounds, and that's full of all fluids ready to ride. But why does the Rally weigh more? You have a few extra parts on this bike that we'll get to shortly, but one of them is the fuel tank. The Rally has a 3.4 gallon fuel tank, whereas the 300L is at 2.1 gallons. The Rally has a 35.2 inch seat height, and the 300L comes in slightly shorter at 34.7 inches. And you do lose a bit of ground clearance on the Rally, with it coming in at 10.9 inches compared to the 300L at 11.2 inches. And next up, we'll get to the chassis and suspension. You have the same 43mm inverted Showa fork and a ProLink single shock in the rear with preload adjustability. Front and rear wheel travel comes in at 10.2 and 10.4 inches. This is one corner of the bike that I think Honda needs to put a little time and effort into, but the downfall to that is if they start beefing up the suspension, then the price goes up as well. It's plenty for the average rider though, and that's who mainly buys this bike. But if you're a pro level rider who wants to get super aggressive, then I would look into some suspension upgrades. And next up are the brakes. It has hydraulic brakes front and rear with a 256mm rotor up front and a 220mm out back. A new brake master cylinder incorporates the reservoir similar to the design used on Honda's performance-based CRF bikes. This allows the elimination of the hose that connected the remote reservoir with the previous design for a cleaner overall appearance. And don't forget, ABS is also available as an option for $300, and thankfully you can turn off ABS in the rear, so you can lock the rear tire up if need be. And next up we have the wheels. You have 21 inches up front and 18 inches in the rear for smooth rolling over rough terrain. Compared to the 2020 model, the black aluminum rims have been polished, resulting in a glossy appearance and making them a little easier to clean too. The rear sprocket is thinner in certain areas too and is attached with smaller bolts now, M8 replacing M10, achieving a 0.03 pound combined weight savings. And the rear axle is now hollow as well, shaving off an additional 0.02 pounds. And next up we have the swing arm. Normally not something we care a lot about, but Honda made some changes here too. The one-piece cast aluminum swing arm has been revised for optimum flex characteristics, with lateral rigidity increased by 23% and torsional by 17%. The width near the pivot was reduced by 15mm, and the component's overall cross-section was revised to deliver a more uniform distribution of twist, resulting in better feel and more predictable handling. And the swing arm's weight has also been lowered by 0.08 pounds. And next up we have the frame. Through optimization of its main components, the frame's lateral rigidity has been reduced by 25%, improving maneuverability and rider feel, and the frame weight is down 0.3 pounds. But how did they bring the weight down on the frame? The down tube is 30mm narrower, the down tube gusset is smaller, the main pipe is 20mm shorter, and the diameter of the cradle tubes are down 3.2mm to a total of 25.4mm. And the lower triple clamp is now constructed from aluminum instead of steel, saving 0.1 pounds. All of this results in not only reduced steering effort, but because the weight drop occurs high on the bike, it helps lower the overall center of gravity. And we can't forget the kickstand is also stronger to resist bending, and its foot plate is now 10% larger for a little more stability when parked. And now we're at the engine and drivetrain. It has a 286cc liquid-cooled 25-degree single-cylinder dual overhead cam 4-stroke 4-valve engine. They started with a CRF300L Rally engine and revised it by increasing stroke by 8mm while leaving the 76mm bore unchanged, making the final bore and stroke come to 63 by 76mm. The longer piston stroke delivers a 10% increase in horsepower and 18% bump in torque, bringing its numbers to 27 horsepower at 8,500 RPM and 19.6 foot-pounds of torque at 6,500 RPM. And the camshaft also has revised lift and timing to increase output in the mid to low RPMs, which is where you want it when it comes to this kind of bike. Then we have the air cleaner design, which was revised, and the large 38mm throttle body was retained, while a new exhaust system is incorporated featuring a lighter header and muffler. This despite a reduction in sound output that was achieved by better controlling sound vibrations. In combination, these changes deliver improved throttle control, particularly at low RPM. And as before, The engine features a valve train with a rocker arm design, enabling a compact cylinder head, while the counterbalancer provides smooth running. Now thankfully this engine won't break the bank when it comes to maintaining it. As you can see from the maintenance schedule here, you have your first service at 600 miles and then every 8,000 miles from there on out, with valve inspections every 16K. And next up, we're at the transmission. The 6-speed gearbox has updated ratios for 2021 with closer spacing in the lower gears and wider spacing in the higher gears, enabling optimum gear selection while still allowing comfortable cruising speeds when you're out on the highway. The CRF300L models already had an incredibly easy clutch pull, and for 2021 it's even lighter. Thanks to a new assist slipper clutch, they've made the clutch pull 20% lighter while also improving performance during aggressive downshifts. And next up, we'll get to your riding position. The riding position has been revised for improved rider input and overall maneuverability. The handlebar sweep was increased for a more natural elbow position and light steering, and 2 handlebar weights at 5.8 ounces each were added to help reduce vibrations. And rubber platforms were added to the foot pegs to bring down vibration as well. The seat also gets a new rubber mounting cushion, and it has been widened by 20 millimeters compared to the standard model to 190 millimeters, though the front remains narrow to help with your feet touching the ground. The foot pegs were also moved back, while the right swingarm pivot cover was redesigned to reduce the overall width. And next up, we can't forget about the new gauge display. You have a new LCD setup that has 6mm larger characters for improved visibility. In addition to speed, clock, and RPM readings, new functions have been added, including a gear position indicator, fuel mileage, and consumption readings. And just like in a lot of other places where Honda wanted to shave weight, here's another place where they were able to save 0.01 pounds. And when you add it all up, that's how you get to this current bike being 9 pounds lighter than the outgoing generation. And next up, we'll start it up so you guys can hear what it sounds like in stock form, and then we'll come back and go over a couple more things. And that's the 2021 Honda CRF300L Rally. What do you guys think about the changes Honda threw at it for 2021? And what else do you think they should have changed? And how many of you want to see Honda release a CRF450RL Rally? Or would the oil change intervals on that bike lead you in a different direction? Let me know what you guys think about it, and let's talk about it all below. If there's one thing I miss about being in a motorcycle dealership every day, it's getting to talk bikes with people. But that'll do it for this video, guys. Thanks again for watching and for all of the support lately. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.